What's up, Andrew here. I want to talk about the Storm controller by Cooler Master. This is their first entry into the controller world, as it seems, and definitely excited to go over the website to see what they're talking about this particular controller. It's a multi-host controller. It provides Windows support, iOS support, and also Android support. So we'll go over the website, talk about some of the things that we see here, make our comments. These are the things that you should know about the Storm controller by Cooler Master. So let's look at it. First thing we see is right here, Storm controller is an extremely versatile controller. We see 40 hours of battery life, ergonomic, hand sculpted. They talk about that, so we're going to scroll down a little bit. Next thing that we see is what we mentioned, multi-device connectivity. We see Windows, we see iOS, we see Android. So if you have any of these devices, this may be for you. Next thing we see here, we see the Bluetooth as well, the hybrid D-pad. We'll come back to that later. Ergonomic design, USB Type-C. So definitely check that out. Anti-slip, halo texture. Okay, so we see that. Also, we see here, first entry of a new family of products from Cooler Master. I'm going to have some additional notes about what I believe they should do in the future. So if you are a person on the team for Cooler Master and you're watching this video, I am going to give constructive criticism when it comes to individuals who are actively using controllers on their PC, not necessarily iOS devices or Android devices, but I am actively using controllers on PC. So I'm going to add some additional comments at the end. So it says here, multi-device connectivity, pair up to 4 devices and easily swap between them with the press of a button. And okay, so first thing, so I want to just take a little quick pause here and just look at the controller. It is a beautiful controller. All right, so I'm not going to be like super critical, and I do not have the controller in my hands, but in the event that happens, shout out to you guys. I'll leave my email and maybe we can connect and get a test controller and see what's happening with this particular device. I am looking for one particular thing in this device, but again, additional comments when we get to the end. Okay, so wireless, wired connectivity. So we have that. We talked about the Bluetooth design already. Hand sculpted. I would like to believe every controller is hand sculpted. So I don't know if that's, a marketing thing per se, but I definitely wanted to mention that that's there. Anti-slip is always good when it comes to controllers. I'm trying to see which controller has that. I think the BFG has that in the front and the rear of the controller. So the Pro BFG does have that as well. So, okay, cool. So that is what it is. Let me see. The Xbox controller does have that also on the rear and also on the front of the controller. So you have that. Anti-slip is always good. I do believe that the C40 could have done a better job on the front of the controller because it's very smooth, but on the rear, they did get that correct. Okay, so shout outs to them. All right, so again, just showing you that we have a lot of different controllers here. So next thing, let's just scroll down some more. Precision trigger force. Okay, right balance of rigidity and flexibility. Cool. Okay, would love to know a little bit more about that. Can I adjust it? Didn't say adjust, so I'm curious there. All right, so I'm just being very objective. All right, so definitely want to hear what you think about this in the comments. Hybrid D-pad, I'm not necessarily a fan because I do have, which one is this? I think this is the neon here. This is the Afterglow Wave. Okay, so the Afterglow Wave has something very similar in terms of the hybrid D-pad. I'm not a fan of that per se. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just not a fan. I'd much rather like the BFG version, right? Let me see if I could show you that. It's a little bit flatter across and I get more precise control when it comes to that. Very similar to the Victrix, okay? Same company, right? So you have similar D-pads there. The D-pad for Microsoft, it's okay, right? Can't even see that with the light, I guess. Let me see if I could see that. It just dips in, right? It's okay. I'm not an avid user on that particular D-pad. I do like the Pro BFG D-pad. I also like the D-pad for the Victrix controller. So again, hybrid D-pad, it is what it is. It says it allows for easy directional presses, but also making it easier to perform sweeps or diagonals in fighting games. Maybe, okay, maybe. I would love to hear a little bit more about that. But again, as I was scouring the internet, I didn't see a lot of individuals talking about this controller, which is why I wanted to do a what you should know for this video, for this controller today. Okay, so we see a picture of it with the screen there. So we see that. Okay, so the phone cradle attachment, that is separate with the optional phone cradle attachment. Gaming anywhere is even more convenient and accessible. The cradle can be utilized in multiple angles and can be set on a desk and other objects for even more convenience. Okay, so you have that. Okay, so it is what it is. So I wanted to touch on that. So I love the pictures. Of course, we're going to get great pictures when it comes to the website of a particular company and a particular product. We're going to always get that, right? So looks amazing, but I have a question. Okay, I have a question. We're going to get that to the end. Unique identity. Storm Controller fully embraces our unique visual identity with a high quality finish accompanied with purple accents and the Halo logo in the center. Again, as stated a little bit earlier, beautiful controller. I'm not gonna knock that. It looks absolutely amazing. And we see a little bit more colors on that. So we get to this point here. This is the point that I wanted to get to. When it comes to all these controllers that are on the market, I'm only looking really for a few things when it comes to the controllers, right? And let's look at what we have here. So we talked about USB Type-C. We had the 40-hour battery life. I highlighted some things here. The haptic feedback dual motors. Okay, so you have that. 1 year for the warranty. That's okay. We usually see 2 years depending on what's happening with a lot of these controllers. It does talk about that the cradle is optional. Okay, you have that. It is a gaming controller, and that's what we're looking at, right? So now what I want to know is, are we going to get a pro? I have a couple of questions. Are we going to get a pro version to this controller, right? And the reason I'm asking this is because when you're looking at specs for controllers these days, this is a very straightforward spec sheet when it comes to controllers. It doesn't tell me if it has Hall effects in it, because I know that if it does have Hall effects in it, it's going to be a product that's going to last me for a long time. The fact that the warranty is only a year, I'm going to lean to the side of it does not have Hall effects in it, right? So at some point, maybe it'd be a great thing for them to consider doing a pro version of this controller if the reception of this controller is amazing, right? So you have 1 year. So like, let's just look over here. So when you look at what 8BitDo has done, right? And this is the comparison that I need to make, because they've done it in such a way where if I really want a controller to last a very long time, I'm going to pay the extra dollars to get Hall effects in the controller. I'm just going to do that because I want to make sure that whatever happens, it could be the most precise controller, but if it has Alps in it, over time, it's going to wear out and I'm going to have to replace it. So if you do consider making a pro version of this Storm controller by Cooler Master, so Cooler Master, speaking to you directly, if you're considering making a pro version, please make sure you add the Hall effect joysticks in that controller. So that way we're going to have the option to pay the standard price, whatever that's going to be for this controller, and then the premium price for the one with the Hall effects in it, right? So I think those are my main concerns when it comes to what's happening here. Again, it's a beautiful controller. I think that when you're looking at form factor and how much we're using controls on PCs, I'm not surprised that another company is making a product like this to gain some market share and profits for this product, because folks will use a keyboard if they want to, and folks use the controller if they want to. And I think that it's a beautiful thing. So if you are considering making a pro version, definitely put Hall effects in it. And I think that the response to that is going to be a little bit more than what I got from hearing that this controller actually dropped. So congrats on the drop, but definitely consider making a pro version of it if you can. I'm looking forward to seeing the reactions to this controller on the market. And that's it.